Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this unfortunately named podcast.
What's the name, Sohrab?
I don't want to say the name. One of you two say the name.
Pete, do you want to do the
How about I start the name and then we go around?
Oh, yeah, we go. That's how we should do it. We should do it together.
Hey, everyone. I want to say welcome to the So Fresh
So clean.
and...
Do I really have to say it?
I mean, it's your word.
So fat.
Podcast! Ding, 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 ding,
Oh,
ding.
man.
Podcast.
So fresh, so fat.
No,
No.
I'm so fat, you
Don't
fucking idiot.
put that on me. Yeah.
So
Don't
fresh,
put that
so
on it
clean, because he's got his nice clean haircut
Yeah.
going. And
Can I
then...
get a haircut, please?
Oh, put that back. We
Can
got
I
kids
please
watching. Put that
I
thing
please
back
Can I
on.
put that hat back on, please?
I look insane.
Yeah.
I look crazy.
You're about to go on stage after this.
I know. My thing is, okay, so I can get away with looking like this on stage because I talk about drugs and being messy.
I can't imagine you doing like a bit where, like talking about something like innocent, like a clean bit and look like that.
No.
You have to talk. But do you feel pigeonholed because of that?
Listen, there's not a pigeonhole big enough to get me all the way through. Pete,
Yeah.
tell us your story, man.
My story is I'm a barber here at this Pete's Barber Shop.
But this is your second location.
This is my first location.
What about the?
I mean, that's not. I don't have two locations. I have one shop. I was over here, and now I'm
He's
over
expanded
here.
his.
He's expanded in a same building.
When did you become a barber?
I wanted to do makeup and special effects in film. Long story short, I kind of just fell into cutting hair to work my way into doing makeup and special effects in film.
Interesting.
And it kind of brought me to this. Being an ex-painter and taper in the union, kind of fell into hanging out with guys and talking shit. So that's kind of how I became the barber, more or less. And I'm also a DJ. I play music for
Coffin
people.
Banger.
The Coffin Banger.
Coffin Banger. Shout out Coffin Banger on Instagram.
That's, Coffin Banger Instagram.
What do you like to spin?
Rock music, just
Rockabilly?
I have put some rockabilly, yes, in there. But I play lots of other stuff. I play soul and funk and R&B and just everything, just anything rock related from late 40s to today, pretty much.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much what I do. I've been married I just celebrated my 13 years. I've been with my wife for 19.
What's your cat's name?
My cat's name is Loki.
Loki.
Great name.
I do a Loki time as much as I can on Instagram, so you can see pictures of me and my cat.
How do people get an appointment?
At the shop, basically, there's a website you can go on, and then they.
What's the website?
Pete's Barbershop Chicago.
Pete's Barbershop Chicago.
Chicago.com.
We'll throw it somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just gonna say Pornhub.
And he's
Pornhub.com.
and Pete's been cutting our hair for how long now?
Pete started with me,
Yeah.
and then I put you on to Pete.
Yeah.
And then the dude who owns the bar I work at put me on to Pete.
So it's been
Because I got a bad haircut. I hated it.
Yeah.
And he was like, we got to go to my guy. And I went to his guy.
yeah.
And he just made fun of me the whole time.
And then you're like, I should do a podcast with this guy.
Well, he's been yelling at me every time I get a haircut. You don't know this, but every time I get a haircut, he's like, you got to start getting your shit together, man. You got to do what Vic's doing. He says that
I do.
and I'll be like,
I try to.
and I'll be like,
Yeah.
Pete, what the fuck do I need to, like, what are you talking about? I get so mad because I'm like,
Do you really?
What do you, well, in like in a cute way, not in an actual way, but what are you talking about? What do I need to do?
I feel that Vic has a good social media presence. He's a good. You do a good social media presence.
Yeah,
too,
after
but
he yelled at me about it. He was like, you got to start putting,
But-
Vic puts his jokes out all the time.
Yeah,
Well,
because Vic's on it.
And he'll be like, dude, Vic's out there doing shows. And I'll be like, I'm doing shows, dude. Like,
Not in your mom's basement.
I'm not doing
talking
basement
about-
shows. I don't know what you're talking about.
He's like, I got a gig in Upper Wisconsin that I'm trying to book right now.
You'll be like, dude, Vic's doing it right.
Oh, I love that. It's
Yeah,
great.
I know. It pisses me off.
That's great. Well,
Vic, what's your?
But he's always
Yeah.
like, you got to get a podcast. He's like, Vic's got a podcast. I'm like, no, he does not have one.
Well, he's about to have a podcast
Yeah.
with me.
Right now.
yeah. Okay, so I am a Chicago-based stand-up comedian. I'm nationally touring and yeah, doing.
Doing stuff that Sohrab's not.
Yeah, better social media than Sohrab. Yeah. No, but we've known each other since I think the entire time been doing stand up.
Yeah, well, I think we kind of started together.
We started around 7.5 years or so. Yeah. But you've left and come back
No, I faked it.
You faked it.
I faked it. I learned that from Dave Hellam, who taught me a lot.
Yeah, and he did the same thing all the time. Brian Babylon
talks about it all. Oh, these older guys, man, they know what's up. They told me that. They're like, yeah, just fake it.
Being the perpetually out of town / in town comedian.
Exactly.
But yeah, I started at Second City as an improviser. I did the whole program there. I met Tyler Fowler, who we started, and Megan Dirty.
Love Meg.
Yeah, we started a company called Team Us Comedy. We produced a ton of shows. Meg moved, but we had an album debut #1 on iTunes, our own special, and then since then, Tyler and I have kind of taken to running up shit in Chicago.
Yeah, you guys booked some good shows.
Yeah, we've been still running. We run a few shows in the Midwest, and then
private events, corporate gigs,
all sorts of colleges where they get my face wrong, all sorts of shit. But yeah, I mean, it's
probably
been
white people because they think all brown people look the same.
I think they just Googled like it's same-ish.
Yeah, it's close.
Same-ish. That's a good name.
I think they saw a picture of me in a suit, and they saw another indie guy in a suit, and they're like, "This must be him." That's how they did it. But yeah, that's me. What about you, Sohrab? Tell us about yourself.
I'm a comic. I've been living here for long. I'm not nationally touring like he is.
You're going to Midwest.
Yeah, I'm a Midwest guy. Yeah, I don't really tour.
I mean, you've been to Cleveland.
I've been to Cleveland.
Yeah. By the way, just so we're not to, he could be nationally touring.
I'm just very lazy.
He's lazy.
I enjoy Chicago.
Obviously, just by looking at him, you can tell he's lazy.
I'm a comedian. I do all the clubs around town and do some colleges and I go to I'll pop into other cities.
How long you been doing it? Oh, 7.5 years too. You've been doing some. Yeah.
Oh, 2012. You've been doing it longer than me. Yeah. Damn.
Technically, I started in college.
Really?
Yeah, I opened for sports.
Henceforth, why I always.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's why I say that he's doing more than you.
Yeah.
You've been doing it longer, but he's getting farther.
Yeah, but I started in college where you're really just fucking around.
Yeah, but
I moved here and I quit. I quit for like a year or two because
when I started, tough. I was old enough that I just kept going. I just didn't. There's no break period.
When I was 22, 23, I took a break, but I just quit because I couldn't figure it out.
But see, the thing is, the reputation because he had been. That's what I thought. I'm like, I knew you met me when I started, but you were already like doing shit in the city. Like he was already known in the sense where everyone was like, oh, this guy's funny. He has like every time I'd see him, he'd kill. Like it was understood he would kill. And that's the thing that I think people still had the perception, which is good to have that perception. Like you kill every time. Not a lot of comedians even in Chicago.
I feel like you have the same reputation as well.
Yeah,
that's why I'm here.
Yeah,
with you guys because I want to kill too.
There you go. Thank you.
Yeah, not everyone has that reputation.
No, and it takes a. I mean, I've ruined every aspect of my life other than stand up to do that. Too. But
that's good though. Like you have to go all in on like I did with my business. Like
you expanded. I mean, you got look at this place.
Like, you have to go all in if you're going to do something. Fucking go all in and do it. Like if you want to be successful at it.
Yeah, and
that's why like I said even my business. I feel like shit. Like I'm known all around the world for Christ's sake.
Yeah, no.
Other barber shops know me. Like other comedians know you guys and stuff. That's
basically rad. This podcast should be called "No Fucking Losers." All right, that's what.
Pete, you were about to tell us about a celebrity that came in here.
Oh yeah, besides us.
Yes. So this wasn't recent. This was some years ago.
Okay.
So I have a client who works at the Hard Rock Hotel.
Okay.
This was years ago.
Okay.
So he at the time the shop was a walk-in barber shop.
Okay.
And there was no. I didn't run it where it was like, hey, you can call me and I'll throw your name on the boards because you
had a board. You would come and you would write your name on the board.
And you write your name on the board. And
I remember. That's when you were down the street.
Right. And people would call like, hey, you put my name on the board. I'm like, dude, that's not fair because if I do it for you, I got to do it for everybody. It's just not fair. Like, you got to come in and put your name on the fucking board. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
So this guy called me. He goes,
Pete is communist. It's just so I want the viewers to know.
Well, I want to be fair to everybody because it's not fair when other people are sitting there waiting 2 hours for a haircut, and then this guy comes in like, "Oh, guys, All
right,
so
Trotsky.
I get this.
Mark said the same thing.
Yeah,
it's not fair.
So
Marx and Engels and Trotsky and Stalin.
So I get this phone call from my client who works at the Hard Rock Hotel, and he's like, "Hey, I got a guy who needs a haircut." And I was like, "Okay, send him over. Whatever.
Yeah,
like I'm open till 2.
Yeah,
or 3 or whatever it was." I'm like, "I send him over." He goes, "Okay." So never comes over.
Okay.
So he calls me again on the second day. Okay. He goes, "Hey, this guy needs a haircut." And I'm like, okay, send him over. What do you want me to do? Like, just tell him to fucking come over. He's going to have to wait like everybody else.
Okay.
So the third day happens. Now it's a Saturday, and it's fucking packed on a Saturday.
You've given him 3 chances. You've done something you don't do for anybody else.
But I wasn't going to do anything. I just told him to come over and put his name on the fucking board.
Yet.
No, he hasn't shown up
yet. Yeah.
So what happens is he comes to the door, this guy. And I knew who it was because he told me who it was, but I didn't want to tell anybody in the barbershop who it was. Yeah. I will tell you. It was Giovanna Ribisi.
Giovanna Ribisi? From
Saving Private Ryan.
And Boiler Room?
Boiler Room, amongst many other films.
So
he's an Oscar-winning celebrity.
What did he win an Oscar for?
I think he was in Saving Private Ryan.
Who was he?
Who was he in that?
I think he was Private Ryan.
No, Private Ryan was Matt Damon.
He was
yes.
The whole point of the movie was to go get Matt Damon out of war because he's Private Ryan. He's the last of his.
Okay, well, whatever. Like I said, I don't remember. But Giovanna
We'll put his picture up.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's what's even more funny. So he comes to the door and he walks in.
He's a kind of squirrely guy. He's like,
and there was a room.
Giovanni.
No, he didn't say anything. He just walked in, and I looked up, and I was cutting hair, and I looked up. I was like, "Hey, man, if you want to throw your name up on the board, it's going to be like 2 hours before I get to you. Like, if you want to do something, come back, whatever. That's how
you used to do things. Yeah."
And as he was standing in front of the door, I told him that, and he kind of looked at the board, and he saw there was a room full of people, and there was a guy sitting in the chair, and he snapped a photo of him. And the funny thing was, funny. It's funny, but it's not funny. He snapped a photo of him, and he kind of like took his head down, and when he looked, he's like, "Oh man, I'm not gonna have time to hang out and wait." And I was like, "Hey man, there's a guy." So he's like, "Well, he's like, do you know any other barbers in Milwaukee? I'm gonna be up in Milwaukee next." I was like, "Yeah, go visit this guy." So he left. So I didn't get to cut his hair, and everybody in the shop started kind of giggling, like, "Oh my god, it was Giovanna Ribisi!" And he's like, "See, it doesn't matter who you are. No one's getting first cut at fucking Pete's Barbershop.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter who you are." And that was kind of the thing. It was just like, I'm like, I don't give a shit who you are. Like,
So what happened?
So he left. So I got home and I told my wife, I was like, "Hey babe, you know who came in the shop today? Giovanna Ribisi." And she's like, she did the same thing. Who? She was kind of.
Let's not insult the man.
So
let's not dunk on him.
But she didn't recognize. So I Googled his images and I opened the phone. And the first picture to come up was the picture that this guy took of him on his page. It was him with his head down like this in my shop,
looking sad that he didn't get a hit.
I called that dude. I was like, "Dude, you got to take that."
Is that still the first picture?
No, because he took it down. He took it down because I told him, I was like, "Dude, you can't take that down because if he sees that, he's going to get really upset. It's going to be like we were making fun of him." And I don't want him, because I wasn't making fun. I wasn't trying to bust his balls or anything. It was legit. I was busy.
I thought the story was going to be like who was the guy who played Frank in House of Cards?
Oh, you thought?
I thought it was gonna be the story was gonna be like Kevin Spacey came here and like diddled somebody. I thought that's what the story.
Yeah, I had someone diddle a kid in my back of my.
Oh, no one
shop.
said kid.
What?
No one said kid. I was thinking adult man.
He was diddling kids.
Yeah, diddle is for kids. No one diddles adults. That's you touch adults. You don't diddle adults.
Fair. That's on me. You don't diddle.
Kind of like how you diddle a donut. Like
I don't diddle.
You diddle a donut.
I don't diddle a donut.
You put your finger in the hole and you grab
right.
it and you eat around.
That's not how I eat a donut.
I thought you were gonna say he was gonna come in and be like, "Do you know who I am?"
No, thank God he didn't.
That's cool. He wasn't.
No, because if he was like that, then I would really goof.
Really,
I'd be like,
then I would have.
I'd be like, bro, you were in Boiler Room with Vin Diesel. Let's chill out.
You don't have a lot of cachet.
Yeah,
I don't know. Boiler Room is a pretty good movie.
Boiler Room is not a bad movie. I'm just
hold on. We have
I was just going to say that Vin Diesel was also in Saving Private Ryan. So they
I forgot about that. He was in Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, yes, he was.
Vin Diesel was in Saving Private Ryan.
I have. I'm looking at the.
And yes, when you look on the IMDb, the first movie that pops up or the first show for Ribisi, it's a show called Sneaky Pete. What are the odds of all of this? Bringing it all around.
Yeah,
Sneaky Pete.
I actually like Sneaky Pete
on there. I've never seen
a good movie. Or TV show.
The fuck was in Avatar too.
Oh, he's been.
And he was in Ted, Gone in 60
He was
Seconds.
the guy in Ted who stole Ted. He was the weirdo who was like,
right.
"I want this Teddy
I need to see a
Ruxpin
picture.
back."
I still can't, but it's fine.
It's right there.
I'll be like, that's the guy and everything.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah. Oh, this guy. Okay.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, that guy.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad. Did he look like he needed a haircut when he came in, or was he?
You know, it was so fast that I wasn't even really like. I'm just.
Okay.
I'm just
I feel like with those guys,
You know who looks like they need a haircut? This is me
Yeah.
right here. Why don't you fix me up, man?
God, you already broke. We already knocked something down.
My water bottle. Pete, fix me.
I will. We'll talk about it when we're done.
I look
I'll get a
crazy.
time. You are always crazy.
Yeah, but I look like a unhoused person.
You look like a what person?
Like an unhoused person.
Unhoused.
As the liberals would say.
Doesn't unhoused sound worse than homeless?
I 100% think unhoused sounds worse.
awful.
The liberalism is so peculiar. Where they're like, no, you can't say homeless. You got to say, but it's just another version of unhoused.
Anything does not sound good.
No.
Like unclean. That sounds horrible.
I prefer I think hobo is the best.
I think problem.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ. I think hobo is the best because it leaves the room for that person to be jaunty.
But a hobo is a certain type of homeless person.
Is it?
Is it?
Yeah.
Or is it just a nicer way?
No, I think a hobo is like somebody who's got that stick with the
bindle,
little
the
thing,
bindle
who's
stick,
on a train. I feel like
Who,
a
like,
hobo
who
is
rides
a
the rails.
I take the CTA. I see a ton of. I see a ton
those
of
are
hobos.
Those are hobos.
Those are hobos.
That's what I'm saying.
What is the hierarchy of homeless people?
Let's not. Can we not?
Is it if it's hobo's like I agree. I think hobo like it's like a cheery.
If Jesus was on this podcast, he'd be like, let's not.
Yeah.
They're all my people.
All right. Fair.
But I don't know. I think
They're
I think
all my
hobo's
people.
at the top.
Hobo's at the top. Okay.
Hobo's at the top.
What was that movie? There was a movie where they're like, the whole was it Anchorman? They're like the whole catchphrase was like these homeless people they're gonna steal your car and have a gangbang in it. What was that movie?
that
What
was
that movie?
that was the New Guys or whatever.
That was
the
very
one with
funny.
Marky Mark.
Yeah, Marky Mark was in it. They're like these homeless guys are gonna run a train in your car.
That wasn't the new. Oh, was it the new guy? Oh, maybe that was
Mark Wahlberg's one of those celebrities where I think anybody, if they try hard enough, can do an impression of. He's just got to be kind of quiet.
Yeah, and he's kind of done his own. He's changed a little bit, so everyone can do a different point.
He's one of those actors where all you have to do is really just say one of his lines in a movie.
Yeah. Because he doesn't have a lot of lines.
He doesn't have a lot.
He doesn't have a lot.
I gotta say though, Boogie Nights.
Boogie Nights, he's very good.
Boogie Nights, amazing.
I mean, he's one of those guys. He's got a movie like Boogie Nights, but then he's also got Shooter,
Transformers.
Or Transformers.
Oh, man.
What do you have against Shooter?
Yeah, what's wrong with Shooter?
Have you guys seen
I've never
Shooter?
seen Shooter.
I thought it was good. Wasn't that he's a sniper in that?
Yeah, it's stupid.
I thought it was good.
I've never seen Shooter, but if Sohrab thinks it sucks, I'm sure I'll like it because he has no taste. Look at him and his taste.
Pete, you have the worst taste in movies. You like the dumbest shit.
Okay, what do you like? Let's talk about this for a moment.
You like Marvel movies, and you're like a goth.
So does a bazillion other people.
You're like a goth Hispanic teenager. You like.
Hey, don't talk about his people like that.
For the viewer,
God,
it's hard for you to drop this goddamn bottle.
Yeah, put it over there where the whiskey is.
Put it over there with your.
Don't tell me.
Do you see why he's so fat on the podcast? I just.
It does suck when you're fat, knocking stuff over.
Yeah, he has
just kind of knocks those. You just move and you knock shit over.
He has a great bit about. Sora's a great about breaking a chair.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Like if you
I will tell you that joke. I have this bit where I go, if you're fat and you break a chair, you're done sitting for the night.
You have to leave.
But you have to leave.
Yeah.
The first line of that joke is, "I broke a chair at a party," and every time I say that, as soon as there's like a quiet moment, I usually hear like a young woman go, "Aw."
Yeah,
it hurts more than silence.
When someone says "aw," that
I agree.
hurts.
You don't want it.
Do awes hurt? Do awes hurt you?
Well, awes are annoying because you're like, I'm getting to the funny part.
I'm not gonna leave you.
Yeah.
With the
What if
sad
you
part.
What if you just your closer was I broke a chair at a party and then you leave the stage?
All right, guys, I got merch at the table. I got bits.
That would be that's a great ending.
The merch
to a
is
bit,
just
though.
pieces of the chair.
Yeah, I
you
got
can buy it. Yeah.
selling bits and pieces of
That's
chair.
a great ending.
Screws and
comedy
bolts
bit.
and nuts and what have you. All the viscera
you have to
of
collect
the
them
chair.
all. Yeah.
You can build your own chair.
I hate the Oz, and it's usually in rooms that are like super kind of progressive and woke.
Yeah.
You're not getting Oz in the South. No one gives a shit.
Or
you know?
or when Vic's in bed.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Vic, can we talk about the college that used the wrong photo of you?
Oh man, yes. So I did a virtual show for a college in Canada, which as I joined the call for this virtual show, it was a lot of Indian people, a lot of Indian students.
Yeah.
So what the college will do is they'll put like a little promo together, like a one-sheeter we call it, like
Sure.
your bio, your picture, your name, and just
Yeah.
like promoting to the students. So I get a copy of this in the meeting invite. So I just happened to click it. I was like, oh, these materials they sending around to the kids to promote the show. I click on it. It's got my name spelled right. Good sign. Got my bio. Then I see the picture. It is not me.
And we're gonna go ahead and throw the picture up.
We're gonna throw the picture up. I don't know who this man is. It's like a stock brown man LinkedIn photo.
So what?
I don't.
So what? I'm so confused by that. Why would they?
But
is that the first?
Well,
picture
let's
that comes
Google
up when
Vic.
they Google
Do me
you?
a favor.
okay, let's try
Google
it. Yeah.
Google Vic, and we'll throw that up too.
Because to see what happens.
Yeah, just no comedian. Just
just
Vic
Google my
Candia.
name. What happens? Do you see a picture of me first or this guy? If this guy pops up, it's gonna be like the
Vic
actor
Candia.
came in here. We gotta get it taken
No,
down.
you're the first one to come up. You
Oh,
rock
okay.
star
All
photo.
right.
of you.
Multiple
So
photos of me.
this leads to.
Was this our haircut? This picture? Because this is a good.
This is actually more curious because it's like, what did they do wrong to get this picture?
Yeah.
Because if all we
Yeah.
have to do is just Google your name.
Okay, so how about this? I'm going to type in a different Vic. I'm going to type in VICK.
Okay, let's see if
what
that.
happens. Let's see what happens.
But they spelled it right on the promo.
They spelled it right on.
Yeah,
the-
but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean anything.
could have been a
the person. Somebody else could have done.
But what's funny about it is if you have that bio, my thought would be they'd pull the bio as the same place as like where the photo was
photo
from.
is,
So
yeah.
how would those two things be in the same spot and different?
bureaucracy, man.
Yeah.
Different person.
Pencil pushers over here, you know?
You make the poster in the bio. You get.
I mean, it was so at the end of the show, I see this at the beginning of the show, and
Sure.
I'm like, I'm not going to bring it up. It's probably, some intern or whatever.
Right.
And then at the end of the show, I close, and I'm like, oh, by the way, before I go, let me share my screen. And I changed tabs, and I'm like, who is this?
Did that kill?
Yeah, it killed. But I noticed when I followed up with like the organizer, I'm like, hey, thanks for the show. They already paid me. No response. No response.
Do you think they were mad that
I'm
you?
sure, but fuck them.
Like, you really think they were mad that they called?
I think they were. Well, I don't see. I'm not sure if it was the middleman who booked me on it who did that or the school. I think it was the school.
It wouldn't have been your agent.
No. Still me.
Still you?
What about these two?
No, none of those guys.
Those weren't the pictures.
This guy. This guy.
So there is
guy
a lot of
looks-
random.
This guy looks.
There's a
nothing
lot of
like
random brown people here with the name Vic.
Like I would have been
Yeah.
flattered if it was like an Indian actor, like someone
Yeah.
like notable.
Hassan
It was just a
Minaj
guy.
or-
It was
The
just-
actor in
what we should do? We should search his photo because you can drag the
Oh,
photo.
that's brilliant. Let's do that.
Let's
Let's
do a
reverse.
reverse.
Let's reverse Google
What if?
this
Because
guy.
if he's more successful than me, then it's pretty funny. Maybe that was their big joke. They're like, look, we're gonna fuck with this guy already.
Let's send him a cut of your show. Let's send him 10% of the show.
Oh man.
Send him some tickets.
I mean, it's like one of those bits that it's kind of hacky, but it's really funny when it happens to you as a brown guy. You get confused for another brown guy, but I just didn't expect it at the college level, and
You know what?
with how big of an Indian student body they
yeah,
have.
you
I just got a funny idea. What you could do is you could take that picture
yeah.
of him, cut out his lips, and put his lips in it, and start telling jokes.
Oh.
The little picture.
Yeah, but then that guy gets credit for the joke.
Yeah, absolutely not. Fuck that dude. Yeah, absolutely not.
I just
If
thought
I'm
that
gonna
was
wear
funny.
brown face, it's gotta be for
My own face.
It's gotta be my own face.
I'm not gonna wear someone else's brown
Yeah,
face.
exactly. A worse version of me. He also had. You would hate his haircut.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's bad. It's
bad.
It was spiky,
Yeah.
but
it
then
had the 3
yeah.
spikes.
He looked like an idiot.
He looked like Firestarter.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
a suit too, which
In
is
a suit,
crazy
yeah.
to pair that haircut with the
That's
blazer.
Yeah,
That's funny.
But yeah, very funny. And I hope they're not too mad. But
I love that you called him out.
yeah, you have to call that shit out, dude. Also, I had made sure the check cleared before I said that.
Have you ever been mistaken for anybody?
Oh yeah,
Like
Oh,
another
yeah.
comedian or something?
It's usually name. There's another Middle Eastern comedian named Sharoop. I get Sharoop.
Oh, I forgot. Which is, by the way,
Sharoop's great. He writes for The Onion. He's absolutely
Very
hilarious.
fun
He was
dude, but-
very funny dude.
could not look less like Sohrab.
Short,
Yeah.
very much short, not
Bald.
much, short, and again, he's a very handsome guy. Happens to be bald.
We'll do a side by side.
We'll do a side by
And
side.
it is
Maybe we'll get him on the show. Maybe we can call him in or
yeah.
something.
Does he
Yeah.
do? I haven't seen him in a minute.
very funny.
Yeah, he hasn't
Yeah.
been. But it's funny because Sharoop he wears like one of those hats called.
The ones the Irish wear.
Yeah.
It looks, the IRA, the newsy.
The IRA.
Love the IRA.
Yeah. Oh,
Big
you do?
Fan. I actually am. I've been reading up on them.
Yeah. I just did an Irish car bomb the other day.
Whoa, let's be careful.
Hey,
What are
let's
they-
take it easy.
Yo.
Let's talk
okay.
about PC here.
But-
Irish car bombs.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Is
term.
that what do they? You can't order that there.
No, you will get your ass kicked. You'll get your ass kicked at certain bars here.
Here, yeah.
The dude who owns Galloway Bay will throw
Unless
you
you're
out.
at an Irish bar.
Yeah. Well, no, Irish people don't like it. Irish people. Don't
What would
like
you
it.
call it? Is that a drink they even fuck with there? Or they're like,
Just
no.
call it a car bomb.
No, you don't call it. You do not call it a car bomb because it's all Irish ingredients in there. It calls back to the spat they had with the British in like the 60s and 70s,
Yeah.
and there were a lot of bombings and a lot of
Homemade.
a lot of innocent people got killed.
It's a great drink.
It is. It is good. It tastes like root beer.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Fantastic drink.
It is good.
I mean, you would have to be like, can I get
half
a Guinness with half a
Or
and
you
you have
just
to
say,
describe it.
you know
That's
what
how
you
you.
say? No, you just say, hey, can I get a shot that tastes like a root beer?
Yeah.
Float.
Yeah.
Nolan will, the dude who owns Galloway, he will throw you out. He's
Man.
Irish and terrifying.
Yeah, he is scary.
Yeah,
That
he's
is
very scary.
But yeah, so you've been reading up, just light reading.
But actually, check this out. Your daddy's an influencer. Shut up. Daddy's an influencer. This T-shirt company from LA hit me up.
I just told him to shut up. It's so mean.
Sorry. I did do what he wanted, though. This T-shirt company, quoted out of Los Angeles, hit me up and they sent me some free T-shirts. And they told me, and they all
That's-
say different things. They're all very funny. I have one yesterday that was so funny. I didn't wear it today because I already wore it.
This one.
This one's very funny too. But the one I wore yesterday said "small shirt."
that's
It's
great.
very funny. I had a couple people take a picture of it.
Yeah,
They're
this is good too. I like this.
I'm an
'cause-
influencer now, so I'm going to shout them out real quick.
Yeah,
Big
what's the
fan.
name of the company?
Feel this.
Yeah, it's
good
nice.
It looks
material.
like a good brand
It's
shirt.
high-
Like,
good,
I'm
it's good.
anal on my shirts.
You know, it's right
this
here
is-
that does it. It goes all the way up. Well, you're a big guy. It goes, it covers up your back fat. I'm like a
I mean, I don't
hog.
have
I
any
got back fat.
I don't have any back fat, but
Yeah.
Tyler, you probably know what I'm talking about. This part of the shirt that cover you go all the way up.
Oh yeah, the turtle shell.
The turtle shell.
You got to watch out for
Yeah.
that top shell.
You
don't
watch
want to be
some of that.
Franklin the turtle
you watch
out
some
here.
of the good seasons at King of Queens. He
yeah.
was rocking. He had LR.
Yes.
He was doing a lot of LRG shirts.
See that
LRG.
in
Lifted Research Group. They make shirts
Yeah.
for fatties.
we've been watching.
In
that.
the animal kingdom, real quick, that is known as the walrus tusk because that's when they're trying to stab each other because all they got are those two walruses tusks.
Is
So
this the
that's where
thing
they-
like fat
they
people do, like
callous it.
try to relate to
No,
other
you try to hide it. You try to
animals?
hide it.
Like,
We don't relate to animals, you jerk. You're gonna get called fat phobic. People are gonna tell you that you don't.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm
Because
okay.
it's not going to be him that
Hello,
they're
my
looking
name's
for. It's the
Vin,
other
and I'm
comic.
fat phobic.
Yeah. That's fair.
Are you scared of fat people?
I'm not.
Boo.
I'm not scared of fat people. I have no problem. I just think, like, figure it out. No, I'm joking.
Whoa! Wow!
No,
Bazinga!
I
Figure it out.
figure it out. No.
I did weigh myself yesterday.
You did?
It was grim.
You know, I had a weird thought before coming in. I'm like, it'll be fun because you know how like the two
You're
bears
gonna
one
weigh me on
cave.
camera? You're gonna weigh me on camera?
I
That's a
thought
good
every
idea.
time we could do a weigh-in.
Ooh, that's a good idea. We should do that
Terrible
every
idea.
episode.
And not for any. We don't.
Do you guys want to do a weight loss challenge and see which
Yeah.
one of you guys can lose the most
Well,
weight?
obviously it's gonna be him that's gonna lose the most
But he
weight.
doesn't have
Why?
that
He
much
doesn't
weight
have
to
any
lose.
weight
No,
to
see,
lose.
this is the thing. I don't. What am I gonna do?
Yeah, I
Pull
feel
from
like if I
yours?
just cut out one, if I just cut out ribs or one thing I love,
Yeah.
Ribs?
ham. I don't know.
Ribs.
I'm trying to think of all the
Ribs.
things. Yeah, I like ribs.
How often do you eat ribs?
You know,
if I just cut out ribs like every other week, like I normally eat
I
it,
feel like
it
you're
would-
someone who like has eggnog off season. Like you're,
I love a good nog.
that's the type of shit you gotta go to like Milwaukee to get it. Like you can't even get it here. You have to get it straight from a farm.
Yeah, I like nog.
The fact that you shorten it is crazy.
I
Nog.
nog.
Yeah.
or as Attell would call it, what does David Tell call eggnog?
I don't know.
Oh, it's
Elf cum.
elf. Not to tell.
I don't listen to enough stand up to know that.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Okay, wait. Here's a random question. So it's raining today, and I saw a rainbow while driving in.
Yeah.
Oh.
Do any of you know? Explain to me.
If there's any leprechauns?
No,
at the end
what a
of it?
rainbow is and how
Light
it occurs.
refraction.
Yeah, but how? Tell me how.
So the sunlight comes in, and when it rains, it makes this like film, right? It makes this like film.
You're the one explaining to
You're
me,
the one
Jonas.
explaining it. He's like, yeah, I know. Let me tell you. I think it's
The
this
explanation
thing.
fell apart when you questioned it
Well,
midway
I'm not
through.
entirely sure, but I think it's just from the sun hitting a sky that's recently rained. Like it's
and it creates
because
this.
it happens at waterfalls too.
Okay.
Like anytime there's like water misting or like a
Because
film.
Right, I think the sun is reflecting off of the rain.
it made me so sad because I'm like, I feel like we learned this specifically about rainbows in school. I remember specifically learning about this.
Yeah.
And I just can't access that.
I remember learning a lot about quicksand.
Yes, same. Yeah.
You too?
Same, yeah.
Quicksand always came.
What school are you at?
I mean, he was the Al Qaeda training camp.
Yeah,
to be
that was
honest.
a big deal. That was a big deal. We lost a lot of good people that year.
So apparently,
to the sand, to the QS.
So they say that quicksand, if you're going in quicksand, you're not supposed to move fast.
You're not supposed to panic. The idea, the visual of someone in quicksand not panicking is very funny to me.
Yeah.
Right.
Very-
Like
yeah.
someone in quicksand just like reading the paper or like just kind of like hanging out, waiting for it to end.
When my mom lived in Alaska, we were going down like just a beach, and Alaska has a lot of quicksand, and a lady got sucked in, and there was a helicopter with a ladder going down trying to pull her
my
out.
God.
She split in half.
Dude, she split in half. It's
Oh,
no
I was just
fucking
kidding.
bullshit.
Whoa.
No,
God.
she did. She
Whoa.
totally split in
That's
fucking
how
half.
strong it was on the base.
It was just so
Whoa.
strong around her feet
I was
that they
kidding.
couldn't get her with a rope.
So
So,
she
they
was
had
holding-
a helicopter
Oh.
with like a fucking like a chain ladder
my
thing,
God.
right? And when the helicopter went to go up, I don't know if it caught wind or what. I've wondered about this. I was like 10, and we were just sitting on a beach, and a lady. There was a whole crowd of people.
Could you imagine
like,
the
cheering
helicopter
her to get her
pilot
out?
later at the bar, like just tried not to tell that story in a cool way? They're like, "How was work today?" And he was like, "Well, I split a woman in half."
Yeah.
Every time I think of quicksand, all I can think of is the saddest movie of all time, which is
I know exactly what movie. I've never seen the movie. I don't care about a horse drowning in quicksand. What is that? Never-ending story or whatever.
Wait, what movie is this?
the never-ending
Some dumb
story.
shit white people love from the 80s.
I don't even know this movie.
They're nostalgic about the 80s.
No?
Yeah.
Are you?
We're not from
See-
this country. We don't.
Yeah.
We don't.
You are
guys
too
didn't-
from this country.
I am not. I'm not from. I wasn't born here.
I was born here. I have a citizenship. He does
I,
not.
I,
But
do have
don't-
citizen- I have citizenship.
Then you should have seen the fucking never-ending story.
No, we didn't see. Every
All right.
trip to the black market was precious. I'm not gonna waste. I'm not gonna waste a trip to the black market.
See,
on a never,
ladies-
and that is true because we did want everything we got.
Ladies
we
and
got from the
gentlemen,
black
once
market.
again, this is why Sohrab has no taste in movies.
You're insane.
Because he thinks a never-ending story is a shitty
but,
movie.
but he has a point. You
in the
can't.
comments, I would like everybody to shoot Sohrab
I feel
a
like our
shit
fans
note.
are gonna be on the browner side and they're
Yeah.
gonna agree with us. So they're like, "Yeah, I didn't watch that."
I just
just,
picture.
just like our Lost Boys and Dracula fucking discussion.
I picture Sohrab going to black market and just like, do you have any white nostalgia I could procure here? Yeah, yes.
You have Forrest Gump or
I'm
That is
looking
a
for a
pretty
real
white movie.
story.
Goonies or Lost Boys or anything like that. All right, Vic. So me and Pete have this. Pete's really mad at me because I think the best vampire movie is Interview with a Vampire,
Okay.
and he thinks it's Lost Boys. And
I didn't say it was the best. We said which is better.
Better out of those.
And I'm
two.
Lost
assuming you
Boys.
do not watch a lot of vampire stuff, which is interesting because you're dressed like a vampire. You usually
I
dress
knew it was coming.
because you usually dress like a French vampire.
I am.
or
I know.
something,
I know. I go. I think of this fashion choice as True Blood. That's what I like.
Yeah, you have a whole True Blood thing going on. You do have a whole True Blood thing going on.
I would see. I can settle these debates, and I'll go watch both of them and report back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you haven't seen either.
I haven't seen either.
Wow.
I don't watch a lot of these.
Tyler, which vampire movie?
Best vampire movie of all
No,
time.
better
Between-
interview.
Oh,
or
Interview
Lost Boys.
or the Lost Boys. I'd go Lost Boys because my man Corey Feldman. I'm not gonna lie.
because
And
it's a
at
better
the
movie.
end
Dude
of
can't
Lost
even-
Boys,
dude can't even handle
no,
his
no,
coke.
no. Oh, he cannot. I agree.
Dude can't
But
even handle his coke.
But at the end of Lost Boys, there's this kick-ass concert series thing that happens, and there's a guy shirtless with a saxophone for the
Sexy
life.
sax.
Sexy sax. If you guys haven't revisited this, you got to really go back and check
all
that
right.
out.
I'm all right.
I'm just throwing out. Interview with the Vampire is so classic, but it's also kind of a chick flick, right?
Yes, it's very much.
it's like
it's got Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt as the lead.
Brad Pitt-
vampire.
Brad
And,
Pitt's
but
the
the problem is they're
greatest American
pretty.
actor of
That's
all
the
time.
problem is they're pretty boys in that one because they're forever youth.
Yeah, you're right, Tyler. I want a vampire movie that's just fat fucks.
No,
it's just a
if
bunch
you
of
want-
plumbers.
Who's the
It's
fat
just-
fucking Lost
It's just a
Boys?
bunch of plumbers from Wisconsin.
No. If you want to,
Oh yeah, you want to go out and suck some blood, baby, today.
I feel like this vampire being attractive thing is that it seems like it goes back further than we thought. I thought it was all but like from like Twilight and shit, but it sounds like
no,
it's been
for sure goes further.
it's
back.
been happening for a
They're
minute.
very debonair. They become they're always rich.
Yes.
Because the original one owned a castle that would disappear and reappear, Nosferatu.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
they became debonair and chivalrous and like cavalier.
Okay. All right. So maybe that sounds like that one would be better.
Yeah.
What about the ongoing joke is, how does Dracula's hair always look so good when he can't see his reflection?
Pete, this better be funny.
Did you just hear the joke? You missed the joke.
I heard, how does Dracula push his hair back?
Why is Dracula...
He really reduced the joke.
Listen to the story!
You made it so sad. What time is this fucking dumb pushback shit?
I said, how is Dracula's hair always so perfect when he can't see his reflection?
How?
That's the question.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
All right.
How does he look always perfect?
No, he asks one of his slaves. And not the racial slaves, the person he bit.
He doesn't
And
have slaves.
Yes, he does. That's one of his powers. He
They're
can
not
hypnotize.
He can
slaves.
hypnotize, yeah.
They're slaves. He can hypnotize.
I mean, I
you.
guess they're servants. Like it's more of a he has control.
He has
over
control.
Them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So slave.
Sure. We'll go with slave.
But I mean, isn't Dracula's hair though just
Slick back.
But slick back.
But it's
then
always perfect.
But then you could just if
But
you don't need a mirror for that.
You're imagining the dumb rockabilly 50s Dracula.
How did you imagine Dracula looking?
Obviously,
Nosferatu.
Victorian pretty boy
Nosferatu.
Brad Pitt.
Right.
As a
I don't like how I'm being compared to Dracula a lot on this episode. Okay.
I've been called, the show is a fat joke about me.
I know. I was gonna say
The
I
name
get
of
it.
the podcast is a fat joke about me.
Yeah, I mean, I was also thinking, by the way, when you the name of the podcast, so fresh, so clean, so fat, and then so fat is on the third line, but it's wide to fit the same
Jesus
two.
Christ.
Ooh.
Because
We're really
you know what I'm saying?
jamming it. We're literally
Yeah.
packing in so many fat jokes. We're putting them in the margins. The typeface of the podcast is a fat joke.
I mean, hey, it's all about marketing.
They're going to come after you so hard.
Yeah.
The fatties. The fatties are going to come after you so hard. They're going to be so winded. They're going to be so mad.
I was gonna say once they
Time out.
catch up.
Is that going to be your? Is that going to be your portion of the fan base, the fatties? Is that what you want
it's gonna
your
be my
fans
portion.
to be
It's going
called?
to be a big plate of ribs and all the fat fans that
love
we
that.
have.
See, it's good because you have when Sohrab does a show, he only needs to have 10 fatties at the show. That's 20 people. You know, that's 20 tickets right there.
We don't
Do you
need-
think? Hey, this is a real question. Do you think on a plane,
Okay.
if you're in economy,
Okay.
do you buy one seat or two seats?
I don't need to buy 2 seats. I've seen the people who need to buy 2 seats.
Do you think that's a thing that you should? If you were larger, you would buy 2 seats?
How do you feel about that, though,
Yeah.
in general? Like, how do you feel about
Not trying.
people
This
that
is
have
a
to
real
do that?
question.
It's not. It's.
Do you think it's shitty that people have to buy 2 seats like that?
Because it'd be weird to be like, hey, if you're fat, send us a photo. We'll give you a discount. like you got to prove your fatness.
Pervert air. Sit on my hand, and I'll tell you.
It's tough. I feel bad for both people. Like the
Did
person.
you guys watch that Andre the Giant documentary?
He had to buy 2 seats, and he wasn't even
He
that
didn't even buy a
fat.
seat. He had to shit in a bucket on a plane.
because he couldn't fit in
Because he
the.
couldn't fit on anything.
That-
Dude, if
that
you wanna
though-
watch
Wait, why was he shitting so hard on a plane though?
You got to
he
shit
couldn't
before.
fit in a normal airplane.
Yeah, but like I've never pooped on an airplane. Like, why
Really?
do you have to poop on an airplane?
I thought. By the way, I thought.
Well, you don't travel on an airplane nearly as much as he did, though.
Yeah. Oh, fair.
Yeah.
Have you pooped on an airplane?
Yeah, I thought that was joining the Mile High Club, is shitting on a plane.
While you're getting a blumpkin.
Yeah. I just thought that's what was it. I'm like, I've done that. I was doing that when I was 12. Yeah, I
You
joined the.
shit in a plane when you were 12?
Yeah, pretty young.
From
I
where?
think I went to India. You have to shit on that plane. That's a long flight.
And I'm not trying to be funny.
But I'm going to be.
I know what you're gonna
I'm
say.
not
This joke
trying
is
to
gonna
be
come.
mean.
I know what you're gonna say.
I can't imagine the airplane bathroom on the way to India is very clean.
Oh, it's not great. It's just a hole in the ground. Like it, it just flies out like a train in India. Let's know.
Oh, have you ever taken one of those crazy
Those are
pack?
crazy.
My dream is to be on one of those.
It's so when you see it, you're like, it's just a hole. It's just a hole. It's it's
Oh, in
insane.
India?
Yeah,
That's
just
well,
that's
I
the
think,
bathroom.
I think Asia,
Like, it lands on the
toilets are that way
tracks?
too.
Yeah, I mean it's a little bit. It's angled off, but that's not great.
It'd be funny, you know, all those like country white kids who take their high school senior photos on train tracks, like holding their guitar. You can't do that in India.
Can't do that in India at all.
It's covered in shit.
Yeah, I do. There is something still like that aside that looks very cool about that.
Yeah.
You know, very romantic and
Well,
on top of the
have
train.
you done the thing where you've rushed into the train to get in? Like I've seen those YouTube videos where it shows you like rush hour
Packing
in
in.
Mumbai or New Delhi, where it's like the train shows up, the doors open, and people
Everyone
are just
rushes
like
in.
rushing.
Yeah,
I've seen that in Japan and
Japan, I've
yeah.
seen it. The videos are, but they're all
nuts.
polite. They're quiet. They don't make any noise. India, people are like punching each other and shit. This is different. But in Japan, they have people pushers that will push people into the train.
That's their
Yes.
job.
That's their
Yes,
whole job.
yes.
They have white gloves.
They're on the caste system.
Yeah.
Pushers.
That's amazing though. I mean, imagine that job. How do you?
I've always wanted to go to India.
Yeah.
Let's go to India.
Let's go.
Let's do a show in India.
That's the
Live
next-
from India?
Live from India. We could do a tour of Asia though.
What's their Hollywood?
Bollywood.
Yeah. No. But there's a city in India that a lot of the Bollywood films get made in.
I don't. Maybe Delhi.
Have you seen RRR?
Yeah. Have you seen this?
I haven't seen it.
Have you heard of it?
I made the reference to it earlier.
Yeah.
I've heard it's the best.
It is. It's so
I heard
entertaining.
it's
It's so fun
Is it
to
like
watch.
that other one? Euro third.
It's just like one of those movies that I wanted to hate it just because I was like, okay, this is gonna be like a weird but it's so entertaining and it's just so ridiculous.
Yeah.
That you cannot stop watching.
Like
it.
I saw a clip of the fight scene of the guy on the other guy's shoulder.
It's crazy. It's nuts.
There's like a guy versus a tiger fight scene.
Yes.
Oh, but shut the
Does that happen a lot over there? Because here's the thing. No. Time out. I cannot tell you how many times I've been on Reddit like 3 a.m. and I just see some Indian dude who's like walking outside for a cigarette, and then he's like, "Oh fuck, there's a tiger," and like literally jumps because there's a big wild cat out of nowhere.
It is one of those things where I think the sad thing is I think there's so much population that they're encroaching on like where tigers live. Like it's not that the tigers are just in a village. It's like the village pushed up until where the tiger lives. Yeah, so it's that's the issue. There's
Do the
no
monkeys
land.
out there wear little hats and like little purple jackets?
Is all your opinion of the Middle East and Asia?
All we've
Southeast Asia,
seen is Aladdin. All we've seen is Aladdin.
Yeah,
You
that's
grew up
so-
watching
guys-
Johnny Quest,
But
and
yeah.
you're just like, oh, fucking, what's his name?
Okay, what's your interpretation of America, Mister? I'm not from this country.
Oh,
How about this? How about people sitting on railroad
Hey,
tracks?
Pete, white people can't yell that loud. Let's reel this in a little bit. What's your opinion of America? You got a camera
Cut his mic.
right in front of your face. Let's just, here at Pete's Barbershop, we respect all
Yeah,
cultures
this
and
is your
ethnicities.
business.
I talk like this in my business
Yeah,
all
he
the
does.
time.
He does. No, he does. He does. It's wild. He's in here saying,
Wait, so that is when did you move here?
8 years old.
Okay, so do you have a lot of memories from back?
I have some.
Some, because I feel like I don't remember shit from before I was like 5. I don't think I remember that much. If you had to like, what's your earliest memory?
I remember getting my ass kicked in school by a teacher because they would beat the shit out of us.
Oh yeah.
I went to
With
military
like a
school.
ruler or like
No.
with their fists?
No, with their fists,
Yeah.
their hands.
Really?
Why they? Because you just didn't know.
I
something?
remember being like, they would put you in formation in the beginning of school. Like it was a military school, so they would do like revelry and like, their version of revelry. And if you weren't like in line and like a good posture, you get fucking just backhanded. A lot of like I think for Hispanic Americans, it's the shoe.
Yes,
I think for some cultures, it's the shoe. For us, it was just the back of your hand.
I think it's definitely a slap in
your culture as well.
It's a slap for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember getting my ass kicked in school, and I remember taking a dump in the porta potty that was at, or the outhouse that was at our school grounds.
These are 2 memories you have.
I have a few. I remember there was a guy in our block who like would make homemade potato chips. And he would have them out for the kids.
So Reb remembers something about food.
Uh,
Are we surprised by that? I remember the potato chips.
I remember going to the mountains for like hikes and stuff. I remember falling into a pool, and when I was in the mountain, I got rescued.
It's so crazy when you think about these. So have you been back since?
No, it's too spicy to go back.
Yeah. Still.
Well,
Right.
for me,
Yeah.
other people
You
go
have
back.
family there still?
I don't know any of them. And then my mom and my dad were locked up in prison over there for political reasons.
Oh, wow.
When they were like in their 30s and 40s and shit.
Are
Damn.
your parents still around now?
Yeah, but I don't want to. I just don't. Family members. It's weird for me because family members of mine will be like, "Don't go back. Like, you didn't serve in the military. You might get there, and they'll be like, "Hey, you owe us some time." They could hassle you at the airport. They could hassle you when you get there or when you leave. I'm not Muslim. They're not gonna love that. And I can't even fake being Muslim.
I was going to say, can't you pretend?
I could if I knew more about the religion, but I don't. Like, if they start speaking to me, they'll just. There's like a lot of greetings and stuff that go a long way. Like
They open his suitcase. There's just a ham in there. He's like, he's like, I'm Muslim. They're like, I don't think.
I don't think you're Muslim.
I don't think so.
All you brought is weed and a
Yeah,
ham
yeah, weed and a ham.
and whiskey.
And
Yeah,
some ribs.
yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Beef ribs. No. So no, but like I'll tell other Persians that, and they're like, "No, you're crazy. I go back once a year." So I don't know. I don't know the situation.
You don't. You don't talk about this on stage at all.
It's traumatic.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that would be people.
But
wanna hear
I'm
about
very jealous of people like you because you get to go back whenever you want.
Yeah,
I'm
I
very,
choose
very-
not to. No, I go back. I mean, not
You're
that
probably
often.
sick of it.
Well, it's just I used to go a lot when I was a kid. It was like every 3-4 years we'd go. You know.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
And now I'm at the age where I want to go back because now I'm old enough to kind of dictate where I go. Like otherwise, your parents kind of take you.
Well,
around.
now you can go, you can drink, you can see the
I can do shows.
India, man, they drink over there.
Yeah. It'd be very. I was planning a trip in 2021. The pandemic messed everything up. But DJ, another comedian we know,
he just went. He was telling me all about it.
He just went. He said the stand-up scene there, they consume so much American entertainment. They know the references. They know everything.
Well, they have that documentary about that. Isn't there a documentary about?
Oh yeah.
I think I saw. I was watching that.
What's like? I know the guy who did that. This is what's his name? It's a comedian who put together that doc. Yeah, it was good. It's good doc. We'll find it. We'll put it on the. Yeah, but it's I actually did a panel with that dude. He lives in New York. He's a New York comic now, but it's called American Hussy.
Is it Samuel Bade?
No, not him. He's is he Persian or
I thought he was Indian. Or Pakistani, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe
we're just taking irresponsible guesses on what.
Yeah, we should know. But
if you're brown, you can guess. White people can't guess. We can guess.
That's true.
We can guess until the cows come home.
Yeah.
White folks, it's bad optics if you guys are like, be black, be Mexican, be Puerto Rican.
There was a show I was at, and the host was like doing crowd work. Like, oh, where are you from? It's a white host, and the person's like, I'm from Chicago. It's like, no, we're like ethnically where are you from? Mm-hmm. And then it was kind of weird, but like they answered this like Zimbabwe, and then his crowd work, this comic was just that. So then he went to the next person. He's like, where are you from? And he's like,
he didn't make a joke?
So he didn't make a joke. So then he's just counting races at the show.
Wow. See, but you know what? We're laughing at that.
But not in a good way.
Not in a good way.
No, right, no.
So I was up after. I'm like, yeah, we probably should be doing a poll of who's from where.
Did that
get killed? I was like, I should be doing stand up if you're from here. Like, it's crazy.
Wow.
So it's so yeah, you're right. And it just was a worse look. I think anyone doing it wouldn't look good on stage after a certain number. You're like, all right, are you keeping track? You know?
Right.
Like, there's so 4 enough. That's enough, you know?
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, another one.
2 of you go in another room.
Yeah, another one at Sohrab. These jokes are so funny. It's like if there's I'm the only Middle Eastern person here. If another one, 3 or more, is it what is the joke?
2. Any more Persians in here? Any more Middle Eastern people? And if no matter the reaction, I'll go. All right, that's it. 2's the limit.
Right.
Any more come in here? This is technically a hookah lounge.
And then
I did want to bring something that's been happening to me recently in stand-up, and I don't know if this has happened to you. I get a pop from a word. That's the only thing people like about this. I go, I'm Persian. I'm very mercantile. And people laugh at the word mercantile.
I mean, it's because there's a lot to unpack with that, though.
Yeah.
Persian
mercantile is
people,
a fun word.
It's very fun.
People don't know what it means, but they know what it means.
Right.
Like, they can't define it. They've never heard it, but they hear it, and they're like, I get it.
But they hear Persian, they think trader, they think that it's like 3 levels down.
That's a joke I've really desperately want to develop is I date a white woman, I snatched one up. I impressed her with my many wares, my silks and my spices.
Yeah, that's good.
That needs more.
Snatch one up is very funny.
Snatch one up gets a laugh.
Yeah, maybe you compare it to your other,
You know what? I go back to your Panda Express joke like once a week.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I love that joke so much. That's your entire business model. I love it because you lose your temper.
That's what. So someone was telling me that the other day. Like, you have 2 modes on stage. They're like losing your shit or just being kind of an asshole, and they're like, you have to stick in these 2 lanes.
Yeah, those are your 2 best lanes.
Like 2 lanes.
So I was talking to someone about stand-up yesterday, and they said something I loved, where they said, we were talking about Nate Bargatze. I love Nate. I don't listen to a lot of stand-up, but he's someone I love.
He's incredible.
He's so funny. And someone said that they liked him because he gets mad without getting mad. You know he's mad, but he's not raising his voice.
Oh, did you watch this?
Which is a beautiful
thing.
When you think about it, you're like, oh, that's skill.
Because it's the same pacing, but you can feel it.
You can feel it, and it's all in the word economy. It's all in the language that you use.
Did you watch his latest Amazon special?
No, I haven't seen his latest. I gotta watch it. I love him.
Perfect example of what you're talking about. He has this bit where he's talking about his wife. He's like, my schedule as a comedian is very different. I wake up late. I'm up late watching shows. My wife tends to go to sleep. He's like, sometimes what she'll do, and he's talking this long story. He's like, sometimes she'll come on the couch, curl up with me while I'm out here watching late. And he's like, and I don't care for that at all. And it is so funny. He draws it out, and it's like you could feel it, but it's done in such a sweet kind of way, and it kills. Yeah, he's a master at that. Yeah, you and me are 2. I mean, we can do. I'm getting a little better about playing with the tension and some of the more.
Yeah, that's like kind of I'm like just now
It takes a long time.
It takes a long time. It takes a lot of reps.
Yeah.
Because I hosted for Eagle Wit last night, and I love him.
Yeah.
And his entire last 10 minutes is playing with tension and the audience's emotions. Because he does this bit where he's like, he's talking about white women, and he's like, all I want is for cops to start shooting white women.
Yeah.
Because then we'll solve the entire
We'll
thing.
care about it.
Yeah. And he's like, not a lot. And then the crowd immediately is like, ooh.
Yeah.
Buckles up.
Yeah.
And they buckle up. But then he just keeps he's done that joke so many times.
Yeah.
Maybe, I'm assuming. I could be wrong, and he's just playing with it.
He keeps digging.
And he's like,
Yeah.
not a lot. He's like, not a lot of white women, just 2. And then the crowd kind of like, they're a little more on board with it. And then he does this thing where he's like, that'd be great. Like, people on Twitter would be like, pumpkin spice lives matter. And then the audience is suddenly like, they're like, all right, you threw us a...
It's a joke. It's cute again. It's cute again.
Yes. And then
he'll
he'll be like, can you imagine people out in the streets? Like, God, her name was Barbara. Like, by that point, he has you. Where you're like,
that's so good.
But he starts off, he loses you on purpose.
I love that. Yeah. He knows he's going to get you.
Oh, it was you're just it's one of those things as a comic you watch where you're like, I gotta go home and write.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I don't have anything like that where I play with their emotions.
Love that. I have a couple things that really, but I really like them. But it's tough even in the jokes. You're right. It's about reps.
Yeah.
Because even the jokes that I'm like, oh, it stopped working this week. Why didn't it? And I'm like, oh, I went too fast.
Yeah.
I didn't let it sit.
No.
And it's like, you got to slow down. But it's so hard to sit in that sometimes.
Yeah, sitting in it is the hardest part. Sitting in it is because your reflexes are like.
Yeah, you're a comic. You're like, I want to fill this.
Yeah.
And I know how to do it.
I'm going to say this out loud. And I think I am scared of silence in my set because I think that's when someone's going to yell something at me.
Yeah.
So I try to fill the silence with as much noise as possible.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be heckled.
Yeah, I mean, but then, yeah, someone died. Because the problem with too much silence though is then you open yourself up to if it's every joke, you're like a big pause.
Yeah.
If one person could mess up every joke, then
that's like when I watch Jesselnick. I'm like, how does
quick.
that?
Well, Dangerfield.
Dangerfield
is
was bad. But I feel like a dude
Attell does the same thing.
The thing about a dude like Attell and Dangerfield is they're so conversational. Is they're gonna get heckled. And they're gonna fix it.
Right.
They're gonna immediately shut.
They
that
roll
guy
right
down.
into the.
They're
bit,
gonna roll into it. Where I feel like a dude like Jesselnick or comics like that style, are so theatrical that it's harder for them to respond to a heckler. I feel like Dangerfield's whole thing is responding to
right. But I think Jesselnick has a thing. The thing that I like about Jesselnick is that when he tells you the joke, when he's going, you're always thinking, especially if you know him, you're like, he's going to go here, and he really doesn't go there. He even goes even further.
Oh, right. Yeah,
and this and that. And
fair.
But what's interesting about it is even when he does do the pause, he'll say something, and then he'll say, wait for a second, and then he'll do the joke. Nobody's going to heckle because they want to know what he's going to say.
Right, it's also listening is a different feeling from an audience.
And that's what his power is.
He's trained his crowd to listen.
Trained them to listen.
Yeah. But how did he start like that?
I don't know.
Because when you're unknown, no one's going to give you the time of day.
Yeah.
Like at an open mic.
Reps.
It's all reps. Yeah. It reminded me
he's
a bit.
A genius.
Eagles bit about the shooting white women. It's like Patrice O'Neal has a great bit. He's like, he was talking about getting lost, and he's like, if you're a person of color, he's like, I'm just gonna keep a white baby on a keychain.
White baby on a keychain is the best. It's such a beautiful white.
He's like, they'll find me immediately.
If you're teaching a stand-up class, just the word economy,
white baby on a
keychain is just
incredible.
Such a funny sentence.
I love that.
White baby on a keychain. Yeah. I go back and I love Don Rickles.
Yeah.
Of course.
There's one set specifically. I don't know if you guys know the Ronald Reagan's inauguration.
Oh yeah, that's a great.
Have you seen this?
No, yes. I don't think so.
It's bananas.
Is this the one where he's just riffing on everybody?
He mostly he claims he's never written.
Yes.
He claims that everything he does is off the top.
Yeah, I can see it though.
I can see it too, especially because he repeats himself, and not in a bad way.
He does like the Chris Rock thing, where he repeats and then he does it again.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. He's got this excellent. It's one of my favorite things he does, and he repeats himself. Is he'll pick somebody out in the front row, and he'll be like, I talked to this guy earlier. He's great. Tell him what you were telling me. about how you don't like the blacks and you don't want them in your neighborhood, and then he just immediately pivots to someone else. Oh, I just love him.
He's brilliant. He was brilliant.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You gotta, as a comic, you gotta go watch his set when Reagan gets inaugurated.
And imagine just even you saying that whole sentence is when the president gets inaugurated.
That's how crazy that era was.
You could say wild shit.
Did you watch the documentary, Mr. Warmth? That
No, not yet.
Clint Eastwood directed it. It's amazing.
Yeah,
I gotta
it's
watch
an amazing
He
documentary.
roasts Clint Eastwood when he does his AFI.
Yes.
Oh my God,
Yes.
he destroys Clint Eastwood. He talks about his mama, where he's like, his mom doesn't want to be here. I mean, she's the biggest paycheck she ever got, but she doesn't want to be here right now. Well, oh my God, he's every time they have him do like one of those AFI sets, he always starts to set off by telling you he doesn't want to be there.
I love that.
Which sets such a funny, like it's one of those things where if you did it at a show, I'd be furious.
Yeah,
If you went up tonight, we're doing Comedy Bar together. If I watched you go up a Comedy Bar and be like, I don't want to be here tonight.
I
I'd
hate,
be like,
yeah.
fuck.
Yeah. There's
Don't do that.
Very few people who can get away with it.
Very few people can get away with going up there and be like, I'm tired.
Yeah.
He's like, he goes up there and he's like, at this point, it's 10 p.m. I'm fed up and I want to go home.
Fed up.
And it just fed up. It just lays them out.
I love that. Oh God, because you can feel. There's also committing to that.
Yeah.
Like you can tell he's just he's upset. He's like it's if you or I did it, like you're trying to be funny. You know.
There's another one where he's like, the fish was lousy.
Lousy. Underrated word as well. Lousy.
Kimmel, I think, was telling this story about him and Sinatra.
Oh, that's the most famous. Have you heard this
Yeah,
story?
I've heard it,
everyone.
yeah,
I think,
yeah.
What about the ketchup story?
I don't think I've heard that.
Story? That one I haven't heard.
I guess they're in a restaurant. Rickles and Frank Sinatra and all these are in some fancy restaurant, like white everything.
Yeah.
And I guess the waiter put ketchup on the table, and Sinatra picked it up and said, "What the fuck is this?" And he whips it across the fucking restaurant. It smashes all over the place. And his like Rickles is quick. He goes, "Hey, Frank, could you pass me the ketchup?" It was just like shit like that. You're like, "Fuck, dude! Like, how are you that?"
Yeah.
He's a fucking genius.
That
he was a
made
genius.
I fell into a Rickles hole where I just watched, and then I got sad because that's over.
Yeah.
That's so aggressively the roasts.
Right.
Those roasts.
Stand-up comedian at a president's inauguration.
It's awesome though.
Yeah.
So
None
cool.
of that is ever going to happen again, and I'm so sad.
I just heard that Roy Wood is doing the correspondence dinner though.
But everybody hates the correspondence dinner now.
I know. Yeah.
It's gotten so divisive and political.
Yeah.
And
that's
weird.
also
Well,
like,
maybe that's why they're asking him to do it, to kind of maybe
He
shake
was
things up a
perfect.
little
He's
bit.
perfect.
He's brilliant. He's
Well, like
brilliant.
you said, maybe that's why they're asked him to do it, to kind of shake things up.
But
a little
even-
bit.
I'm so annoyed because when people are like, "Who's your favorite comedian?" I'll say Dulce Sloan and Roy Wood Jr. and people are like, "Who?" And I'm like, "Daily Show."
I don't know where. Like, I'm trying to think of where do you guys get your news from now?
Nowhere. I don't watch the news.
Yeah.
I like Politico. I usually go to them.
Yeah.
At the
or
barbershop.
at the barbershop. Yeah.
Whatever Johnny tells me.
Yeah, right.
Pretty much, because everyone knows. That's
This
why I don't
was
talk
wrong
about
with
that
America.
shit.
Everyone's getting their news from some guy with a septum piercing.
Yeah.
Johnny doesn't have
Unbelievable.
a septum pierced, but
Still not a great source.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But basically, it's interesting to think about that now because I feel like, yeah, you're right. When we were kids, I feel like we tuned in to a specific thing every week or every show, every night.
I was at work and I'm a bartender. So sometimes people will come in and be like, I want this game on this TV.
Yeah.
Right.
I was working brunch. One of the younger servers goes up to me and the manager and is like, I guess someone wants to watch something on CBS, I think it's called. And I was like, you don't know what CBS is? And I had to be like, okay, give me a second.
I need to process
Because you need to
this. Yeah.
process the fact that it's over. Like
Well,
it's
that's what I'm saying.
something
Nobody
else
has
TV
now.
is dead.
It's
Yeah.
something else.
Yeah, they don't even.
now.
She's like, it's not like it's streaming for these.
everybody
yeah.
that's the thing is nobody
Streaming.
watches anything
Yeah.
unless it's streaming on something.
I wanted to be on TV so much, but just the TV that I remember as a kid is what I
Yeah.
wanted. I don't want to be on. This one scares me. I want to be on what I remember.
Well, it's crazy because you talk about comedians. The whole goal, like 10 years ago, was like get on late night, get a
It's
set.
all-
Right.
Yeah.
And there's people I know who have been on late night multiple times
Yeah.
and are doing the same clubs I'm doing.
Right.
Like they should be.
Right.
They're great comedians.
Because nobody's watching.
No one watches
no
this shit
one's watching
anymore.
terrestrial TV like
I
that.
think it'll come back. I truly think it'll come back.
I think
I think it'll rebound.
there are some that are doing it really well. Like I think these weekly like John Oliver's show. Hassan Minhaj when he had his these are like deep dive type of week. But
Yes.
it's a niche audience, so it's not mass. There's no mass show that everyone watches anymore.
The Last of Us.
That's true. But no, I mean like news
no, for
talk
sure.
show.
No,
Right? There's no like Carson.
Because
there's not.
Yeah,
the
there's nothing.
reason is, I don't know if you guys watch that CNN documentary. There's that CNN documentary about the different decades, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s,
Oh, yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
And
I thought that was so condescending.
what do you mean?
CNN boiling down an entire decade to 20 minutes of television.
Well, no, but they were saying, which is true, because living in the 90s,
Sure.
I remember how the media did change in the 90s. Because when the Rodney King thing was happening, that's when media started changing. And the OJ thing was happening around that same time. That's when media started, because what happened was the big corporations started buying these TV channels. And that's what happened. That's why CNN is the liberal one and Fox is the conservative one, because that's who owns the stations now.
Yeah.
So you're only getting one side of the news, and that's what happened in the news. Because when you watch news prior to that in the 80s, especially like Desert Storm, stuff like that I was around for and I was watching, you had newscasters.
Sorry about that. Sorry about Desert Storm, by the way. I apologize.
It was a whirlwind. It was a whirlwind.
Sorry,
but that was the thing.
We got a
though.
little drunk. We got a little wound up.
But that was the thing, though. Like, that was real news, though. There were news broadcasters in the thick of shit.
Yeah.
Like, there were missiles shooting over their
Is
heads.
that what you need to feel confident in the news? Is bullets like them in the war zone?
Well, they're reporting the news as it's happening.
Yeah.
They're not getting it.
They're not
secondhand.
filtering it. They're like, this missile hit here. That's
Right.
it. It's like you can see it.
Right.
Yeah.
Versus a week later, you're like, oh, this is the report. These many people are like, they distill it down, they change it or whatever.
Right. And that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Like, that's when the
Yeah.
news started changing. CNN said that, and I was like, wow, that was true, because going back and thinking about that, that's really when it was kind of changing. The news started becoming this channel's just channels, because corporations were buying these news stations.
And now we have Anderson Cooper and his icy blue eyes.
Dude, he looks so it's too he looks like a cyborg. Like he's too curated.
You're right, though.
And I'm saying that.
a fellow cyborg.
Yeah, I felt cyborg.
Well, I think the fact that you're right, though, because I think the fact that they aired the OJ trial and like the Rodney King thing was happening live on television when it happened. Yeah. So no one is watching just one thing.
No,
anymore.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't even think it's something that people talk about with each other. Like, think about if you go out with a group of friends, no one, it's like we're so averse. We know we're all different in that, so we don't discuss it. Like, we talk about everything else. No one's like, oh, did you see the Daily Show last night? No one says that anymore.
Right.
No one's like,
You sound like a nut job.
yeah, you sound crazy.
That's just it, though. To go along with what Sohrab said, like, there was only 3 channels back then, though, right?
Yeah.
Once you got the option for, like, dude, when you got a 1,000-channel package, that had to balloon your fucking mind. You know what I'm saying?
I remember that weekend.
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, once you start to open it up, that's when the corporations can buy it.
And that's
through.
what
Yeah, get what you mean.
that's what I mean. Like, that's where I feel like that's when the world started getting divided like that, where people are like, I only watch this and I only watch that. So people didn't get the news. They like Hicks was always saying, there is no news.
Oh God,
anymore.
Bill! No, he's talking about Bill Hicks. Once he gets on Bill, when someone his age gets on Bill Hicks, it's over. That's how Trump got elected. It's just a bunch of old white dudes started talking about Bill Hicks.
I try to watch a special, one of his.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
because you weren't alive at the time.
Yeah.
Do you really think that's the main deciding factor of?
I think that's a lot of his.
I
humor.
think that's very true. Actually, I think that's a
because
very
his humor's very dated because he
Yeah.
talked about political
Stuff that's
things
happening
of
then.
the
Yeah.
time.
I
Yeah,
like
it's
that-
not like
yeah.
evergreen jokes.
Right.
They're all topical jokes.
He's not a Dangerfield. That's why he didn't age as well.
Okay, big news, big Chicago news. Did you guys know they're doing a NASCAR race here?
I saw this.
I know what you're thinking. You think I'd probably come at this and make fun of it and do some race
I
jokes.
thought you'd be the person like the girl who comes in the middle and like does the thing on the track.
I think it just gets destroyed by a car.
I don't know why, by the way, NASCAR turned into Fast and Furious in this analogy.
I don't think they do this at NASCAR.
I don't think they do that. Shows you how much NASCAR
This isn't the
I watch.
1950s. The girls like, woo, grease kind of shit.
That's the rockabilly shit that you
Yeah.
like.
So what do you mean, me, the rockabilly shit?
Look at your beard.
Fucking rock. What does the beard have to
That's
do
the
with
rockabilly beard. Do you know what rockabilly is?
No, I don't know.
You're gonna Google it and you're gonna be like, oh, it's Pete.
Yeah, it's well, I mean,
It's all like hot rods and
Yeah,
like
yeah,
old
yeah.
monster movies
Yeah, okay.
and like milkshakes and shit. I don't know.
Soda jerks.
Yeah, 50s diners and
yeah,
greasers and shit. Okay, NASCAR coming to Chicago.
yeah. I heard about this.
Very excited.
Is it? I heard it's also going to be bad for Chicago. Is it good or bad?
Well, yeah, I was listening. People, here's what frustrates me about the citizens of this country.
That we're gonna have a lot of rednecks here at fucking
Here's
Chicago.
what frustrates. They do the goddamn air and water show. They send a jet here to fucking fly around, and people complain. That is the coolest.
It's
complains about
I
it?
love the air.
Who's complaining?
Dumb friends of mine, annoying liberals. This is a waste of taxpayer money, and this is just a
It's an air and water show.
The military industrial complex.
Yes, that's which I don't know what that means.
It's a fucking jet. We have a jet. We're going to use the jet. The jet. I'd be more pissed that we would have cool planes and we don't
just show them off.
Show
It's
them
a
off.
flex.
What I want those planes to just. I think what they should do is just fire a couple rounds into the lake, like just a couple, just a bird, just
So you see across the lake.
Stay on your toes.
yeah, just a little.
Well,
I'm sitting in the 99th floor to see this.
Whenever
Just strafe Lake Michigan, just strafe Lakeshore Drive a little bit, Put out some,
just to
put out
like
some
check
targets
yourself.
out there.
Yeah,
put some targets
whenever the
out
air and
there.
water shows happen, I always like if I'm watching on the streets, I'll like find an immigrant. I'm like, hey, just so you know,
Watch out.
watch out.
Yeah.
Watch your
You know,
ass,
just
buddy.
hey,
This is what we got.
Yeah.
And then now
stay in line.
We do that and we complain. And now we're bringing goddamn race cars to the fucking
It's dope.
city.
I agree.
And people are like, I'm
Where
not
are
going
they
to be able
doing
to
this at?
cross the street.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're not, because there's a fucking race car doing 200 miles an hour.
in the loop.
In the loop. Where you live.
Are they doing it at extra downtown? The Loop?
Yeah, they're going
It's
to do the
gonna
loop.
be-
It's the coolest thing in the world.
How
So
do
it's
they
like
even?
that movie Driven with Stallone.
It's
Yes.
going around
the
Grant
Formula
Park.
One car.
Yes.
It's going around Grant Park and
Yeah.
a few other
Okay,
spots.
by the way,
Oh,
we
that
have
is
to get
kinda
drunk
cool.
and go to this.
Oh, I'm 100% going.
That
I
is
will.
kinda fun.
I'm thinking. I want to get.
We should record there. Interview people.
There's Airbnbs that are being rented out that have good views of it.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
I can imagine how much those are going to be going for.
I can't wait. I'm
There's-
so excited.
There's
about it.
companies that are selling office space rooms that
Yeah.
they're like, hey, we just have a room
Yeah.
overlooking
Oh, yeah, we
it.
should-
yeah.
we
We
should
should-
probably
I
do
would
that.
get
can
mine
rent
to go.
a room
We
like
can
a
help
box.
out.
How do you not? Do you know what they should do? They should do the NASCAR race at the same time as the air and water show.
Oh my god!
So there's,
insane.
can you imagine that day where there's fucking race cars zooming around the loop and jet planes shooting? Let's go.
Jet planes shooting at the
Yeah,
race cars,
yeah.
and the race cars are driving.
That's awesome.
It's like that game Twisted Metal. You guys
Right?
remember that?
Oh yeah. Okay, I'm into
Really
it.
embrace it. You
I
know?
agree. Hey, that's
Have a race car that's being manned robotically. Have a
have a
jet
drone.
plane shoot it.
yeah.
Blow
that'd
it
be fun.
up.
Yeah, I think. Do you think we're talking about TV and media? You know how like the whole point of the Coliseum and the games that was to distract the
Romans.
public.
Yeah.
Because all the crazy shit was happening behind the government's falling apart, everything's a mess. There's like famine. They're like,
Rome
hey, let's
rule,
just go
dude.
kill some
Rome
people,
is-
some animals.
If you're ever bored,
Oh, crazy shit.
I know there's a meme out there that's like men will get in their 30s and instead of going to therapy, they'll just Google Rome,
yeah, that's so
like
funny,
Roman
yeah.
history. And it's totally right. But if you're ever bored, just Google Roman history.
Well, I think like UFC when that hit. Remember how popular that was? I mean, still very popular,
I
but
don't think you can compare UFC to Roman
but
gladiators.
I do think it is still a little. It's a little fun. Like it's more than. It's like there's blood. It's like people want that.
Bro, no, that's in gladiators would kill each other. These guys, like, they're not even allowed to like pop a limb out. Like, it's annoying.
See, this is how you know he's not from this country. This is it.
He's like,
they
when
didn't-
I was fighting the tigers,
yeah, there was no stones. You know, it's,
You know, you go to Indonesia and it's their fighting is like religion. Like they're
Yeah.
like
Oh, yeah,
their
yeah.
Muay Thai. They'll like
Nope.
pray.
Oh, it's
and-
crazy.
it's
Yeah,
so cool.
But I think there's going to be more of this type of like spectacle.
I think if America put on one fight to the death a year,
and they should be with pedophiles.
Yeah,
that's not a terrible idea.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
But
It's
then
like
you
the
gotta
Purge.
have. But then you don't want a pedophile who won.
yeah. You can't cheer
You don't
for a
wanna
pedophile.
reward a
Also,
pedophile.
that's got to be no spectacle. You can't cheer for a
Yeah.
ped
Can you
either
imagine
side.
asking a pedophile what he wants his prize to be?
I mean, I think we know.
You know what you win? Another fight.
Oh yeah. He's like, oh man,
Yeah. Oh, that's so funny.
really wanted to diddle a kid.
There we go. All comes back around to diddling.
Oh, the diddling.
God, we really cover a lot in this podcast.